what we're doing here in this room is actually an experiment. It's an experiment because the regular mainstream world doesn't treat dysfunctional, rebellious kids the way we do. And every time someone says, like you said, that before TP we didn't get along and he had these explosions and he was crazy, or eating disorders, or depression on such a level, or the cursing and all of that violence or whatever it was, and then all of a sudden you do TP for whatever amount of time and that stuff goes away, the world doesn't understand that. The world doesn't see that. This is an experiment that's been working really, really well. And they're going to show, and it's going to come out years from now, that science is going to prove that the neural pathways of the brain change, and instead of being in the same room and the same environment day after day after, that when you take the kid out to a beach where there's ions, positive ions, or wherever they want, but especially warm climates, which increases serotonin, and then they can have all these fancy words, right? And you boost them up and you have a great time with them regardless of when they get up and how they dress and if they make a bracha and you just have a great time. That if you do that enough times with shock therapy, that the brain changes from negative to positive. And the same kid that said, I want to die, will stop saying, I want to die. And the same kid that says, F the community and F the thing, all of a sudden is happier people are happier. And then when they're happier for long enough, they can become happier people all the time. And then they need less medication. That's why we don't have kids, Baruch Hashem, Lianhara, in the psych ward. You know, we have maybe 1%, I don't even think. And we see so many miracles, so many shitas that they had. I believe this, I believe that. Okay. Trip. Not like IV drip. Drip. Keep on going. Go. And then we see changes happening that science is going to prove. I'm telling you, it's going to be like a big revelation. We're going to be like, good morning, America. We've been doing this for years successfully. We don't have any kids in the jail system. God help us, we never had a suicide. You know what that means? We have kids who were in all kinds of situations that changed in so many ways. And each time in the beginning, it's like, we need another miracle. Yes, it is a miracle, but it's a miracle that we do. The hardest part of this miracle is just that getting NKN from 0 to 5. Once you have a 5, we can raise it. It's just that sometimes the bad advice that parents get for years before destroys the chance of even connecting. That's the hardest part where we need a lot of patience. But if you can connect and your kid will go with you anywhere in the world, go. I'll tell you something sad. There's a parent that came here, very smart. They came with a pikuach nefesh situation. And the father told me, I believe in everything you say, and he full acceptance. We're not chasing him out of the house anymore. We accept him. He did full acceptance. He goes, I don't believe that going on trips is going to do anything. I don't believe it. And I'm thinking, like, you're very smart, but you don't have experience. Why would you choose to risk your child's life on having a belief? You know how I feel about that. Why do you think you're entitled to an opinion? Why do you have to believe anything? Why can't you just say, what do you think will be better for my kid? And if you're going to someone who has experience, and just do it. He refused. He gave me a whole thing about it. I got nowhere. No, we go bowling. We go with this. We have a great relationship. I'll tell you, it's many years later. The kid who could have been dead is not dead. He's alive. The kid who would have been living anywhere else in this world or been homeless, the way they were before TP, he's living at home. Gets along great with his parents. Great. Not a problem. Only one thing didn't change. He's miserable. Still smoking weed every day. And he never progressed. He never matured. He never flipped the switch in his brain from life is terrible to life is great. And I am sure, based on other kids who had the same diagnosis, whose parents did the trips on a constant basis, I see they get a light in their eyes that this kid never got. He's stagnant. So there's no war, there's no violence, there's no police being called. He smokes weed on the porch, everything's fine. But he didn't take the defibrillator and get to the patient and go, and get that right? Which is what we're trying to do. And I think we do it successfully. Right? You guys are great at that. You're rocking this. Your mom is rocking this. You're doing great. Trips, fun. Now, in between the trips, there's little trips and there's gifts. And it's, the whole thing is basically to make their brain happy. Now, of course, the first step is stop fighting. Of course, the first step is get close enough that they would want to go with you, but then go and go and go and go and go and go and go. So you're doing a great job. You went with him on a trip, and you see totally different kid than what you have at home. After the trip, hold on, he's back to his depressed life, no friends, no functioning. So now, it's not that the trip didn't do anything. Let's break it down. Number one, let's say the trip does nothing for his future. Still, what a rachmanis he is, and what a chesed it is to go to somebody who has terminal, God forbid, illness, and just give them 3 days or 5 days of fun in their life. That's the minimum, right? Number two, you gained calm in your house. At the minimum, there's no fighting, no friction. You're not scared of him anymore. He's a big guy, right? I'm scared of him. So the fact he's not scary, but there's much more to gain. When you string them along, like you said so nicely, like pearls on a thing, and he'll go with you. He's not too busy, and you're not scary people anymore. So now, of course, we have to juggle work and other kids. I get it. It's super hard, but the medicine is there. Up the game, up the place, look for deals, look for Groupons, look for people who know how to go to places cheap, and go any place. When they put on the chat that there is a $41 ticket to anywhere, it should be full. It should be full. Go. We had a family that went. Mom took her son to Puerto Rico, 3 days, 2 nights. She got the ticket and the hotel was $800. 3 days, 2 nights. It was a 4-star hotel. I saw pictures of it, okay? When you're in Puerto Rico, a 4-star hotel is fine. It's fine. We had another father that he took his daughter on a cruise, a completely suicidal, really sick kid, took her on a cruise. Now, he didn't do the Jewish cruise. The Jewish cruise and the Goyish cruise probably have the same boat and go to the same places. But the Jewish cruise is like $25,000, right? And the Goyish cruise is like $4.22. All you can eat buffet, 85 different pools, magic shows. And so he's a very firm guy, but he went on the not Jewish one. 8 days with his daughter. It was really cheap. 8 days he ate airline food. Mesiras nefesh. Mesiras nefesh. I eat airline food on a trip to Israel and I'm done with it. You know what I'm saying? 8 days of airline food, I would have thrown myself overboard. I'm saying forget about it. And it's like there's no kosher food. He couldn't bring whatever. I don't know. 8 days of air. Can you imagine the third day opening up that little, peeking inside? Yeah, it's still peas and carrots and one old chicken, one little chicken. And I always say, like, where do they find such small chickens? When I go to Shlag Kaparis, they never have a little midget. It's like they killed an entire midget community of chickens. They wiped out the whole midget community. They find the smallest chickens in the world. How to get a chicken to be this big? I don't understand. And maybe they should call it chick. It should be called chick. It's like the size of chickpeas. They should have chickpeas and chick, because this is not a chicken yet. This is a very, very tiny little midget chicken that never, it didn't live too long. It was almost an egg. You know, just like barely out of the shell, boom, chopped up by Cadacio or by whatever these things are, and they're put into that little tin can to spend several years with 17 peas and like 2 carrots. You know, and he did it for 8 days because we will do anything to save our kids. His kid is one of the worst kids. She started trying to kill herself at 7 years old. She needs a big Yeshua. We daven for her. But it's many years later, and she is still alive. She needs a Yeshua, but she's still alive. And he bought her a beautiful necklace, Swarovski. It was very cheap and nice, and he gave her a beautiful card. There's so much we can do. So do and do and do and do and do.